The traditional curtain raiser for the new English Premier League season 2025-2026 has come and gone. Good morning, welcome. This is a beautiful game. My name is Mesikenor, and Crystal Palace defeated Liverpool by 3-2 penalties. I must add, of course, 2-2 after full time. It went down to penalties, and I expected a bit more from Liverpool, but that is how it all went down. As Crystal Palace, of course, picking up the first silverware of the season. Kudos to them, kudos to the team. They have done quite well and putting all of that together. Okay, all right. Well, it was 2 goals from debutants. That's talking about Hugo Ekitike and Jeremy Frimpong. And then, of course, Mateta with a penalty for Crystal Palace. And Ismail Assar with that second goal went down to penalties. Mohamed Salah missed. It was also a miss for McAllister and, of course, Elliott. Well, Crystal Palace did all they could. 2 trophies now in this short time. Glass now. Well done. But I would blame a lot on Arne Slot because of how that went down. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from the match. When we get back, I'll take a look at the stats, look at the teams, look at the lineups, look at the players and see how they performed. Let's take a look at some of the remaining highlights from that particular game. Let's take a look at the teams and how they performed. Of course, Arne Slot lining up with his new team and with the debutants, like I mentioned, Hugo Ekitike with that goal, Jeremy Frimpong. But then it remains to be seen how Salah performs when it comes to finals. Now, this is about 11 finals where if it's not a penalty, Salah has not scored. So when it comes to one-off games and finals and all of that, Salah has that record of not being the best of himself. And that was what particularly happened on the day, as you can see from the very, very low rating that Salah picked up on that particular day, right? That is a 5.6, quite very low when you look at how the team performed. But well, that first goal, Hugo Ekitike gave a good account of himself. And, of course, Jeremy Frimpong, great performance there, I must say. Florian Wirtz also with that particular assist for Hugo Ekitike there. But this is where there is a problem. Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate look out of sorts. And as much as Liverpool are going up about Alexander Isak and trying to shore up their offense, there is a problem with the defense. Ryan Gravenberch became a father and so could not make the match as he went to be with his family. And rather than putting Wataru Endo, he came up with this particular one. And this really miffed me because there was no spine all across Liverpool's midfield. Mateta, Sarr and Eze already pulled them all through, but there was no spine, no defensive, no deep line playmaker, no defensive midfielder to hold on that was quite strong. Szoboszlai and Wirtz gave a good account of themselves. But like I said, Jones could not step up to that role when it comes to shoring up the defense, and they were caught out a number of times. Alisson gave a good performance. I feel that 6.4 is quite low for him. He gave a very good performance of himself. And if not for Alisson, we might have seen at least that would have ended in regulation time with more goals for Crystal Palace. Looking at the Crystal Palace side, of course, Guehi went out injured. There's been talk, of course, about Liverpool putting in a bid for Guehi and trying to get him. But he put up a good performance with a 7.1 rating that was quite high. Henderson, man of the match, saved 2 penalties and gave, and this is not the first time he has performed such heroics in Wembley. He did it again against Manchester City also. So kudos to Henderson. Eze has been on the list when it comes to Arsenal and how they can buy. And from what we saw on the day, if Arsenal should really get him, they really would have something on their hands. So yeah, Ismail Assar, man of the match with that second goal there. Wonderful performance from him. Mateta, of course, running all through. Kamada also had injuries and had to get off a little bit later. But all across the team when it comes to Crystal Palace, they did quite well. Wharton, of course, with that performance there, 7.6, quite very high. It just goes to show you how all around, Crystal Palace really were the better side on the particular day. Now for Arne Slot, he does have only these 2 when it comes to senior centre-backs available onto him. If Wataru Endo, who he normally uses as a centre-back or as a backup for both of them, but, there are limitations when it comes to Wataru Endo's height, and that could definitely be a problem. Gomez is injured, so he has to go. For me, Arne Slot has to go into the transfer market to ensure that he gets at least 1 defender. I'm thinking of 2 defenders and maybe a specialist defensive midfielder, or not even a deep line playmaker, because of course across the team, I mean, look at Kekes gave a good performance, a good account of himself. There was this particular slide which he gave in the match to deny a goal-scoring chance. Great from him. Gakpo could have done better. That's quite low for him. But there's quite creativity now. Ekitike, Vets are giving that creativity. So Szoboszlai and even McAllister when he comes in. But there is that steal. Something like for instance, something like a Caicedo or a Lavia will give you in a Chelsea. And for me, that is why Chelsea look like the team that is most suited best to challenge for the trophy, because they look balanced all across the field. And that's what we're saying. That steel, the underbelly, in the middle, that's where Liverpool are lacking. That's where Liverpool are lacking. And I think that they can definitely do much better. Well, and Slot mentioned that they really have to improve. Virgil van Dijk, it was fun that he was talking about an attacking player, saying that they still want to go for attacking players, when I think the problem is the defense. He is 34. And I was talking to some colleagues a little bit earlier about, look at the top defenders across the world of football. You would notice that most of them are quite very young guys. The average age when it comes to the peak of footballers has been decreasing over a period of time. And then you have people like Saliba, who are in their mid-20s, Gabriel in Arsenal, and then look at Barca defenders, quite very, very young guys. Manchester City, all of them. Some of the top defenders around in this age now are much lower. So at 34, he's definitely winning. So he cannot keep up with the pace of the game as he used to. And Konate is not helping matters. So they have to do something when it comes to the middle of the fence. Well, as that was going down, Chelsea went up against AC Milan. That was quite the match, because it was a 4-1 win for Chelsea. As it were, we'll get to show you a little bit of the highlights from that particular game. But Chelsea looks set for the season. There was a red card to AC Milan, which kind of made them not play as they would want to, or not give Chelsea the opportunity. But João Pedro has been quite the buy when it comes to Chelsea and how they are performing on the transfer market. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that particular game, and then we'll come back and wrap up. All right, so Chelsea, of course, with a 4-1 win. And now I mentioned when I was juxtaposing Liverpool as up against Chelsea, and this is why I think Chelsea are well suited to take on this season. And that is because of this particular guy, Moises Caicedo. Now, he gives that steel that you would miss in the Liverpool team. Now, remember, of course, that Liverpool went for him and also went for Lavia. And the interesting thing about Chelsea is that they do have also that backup if they do need it. For me, Chelsea has a weak defense. I wouldn't rate this defense so much. But because of this particular man, it doesn't show. It doesn't show. And then Enzo Fernandez, of course, giving you that deep line playmaker, full box-to-box midfielder, supporting Caicedo. They do have that steel in that strong underbelly that Liverpool do not have. Cole Palmer, of course, looking like he's coming into his own after the Club World Cup. And then this man, João Pedro, Neto, of course. Gittins has been quite a revelation. That young man, with the way he dribbles and all of that, you can't talk about Reece James, man. If this guy is fit, one of the best, maybe at the moment, the best number 2, say Bar Hakimi. Hakimi and Reece James would have to go for that one. But Reece James, I must say that if he's fit, this guy will give you a run for your money at any time. What can we say about Cucurella? I mean, he's been quite the revelation. So, yeah, it was a 4-1 win for Chelsea up against AC Milan, who still have a lot to do. Yes, there was a red card. Quite some back and forth performances, all of that. But hey, come on, the season begins on Friday as Liverpool will take on Bournemouth, and of course later on Chelsea will take on Crystal Palace. It's going to be a week of quite interesting stuff, as almost the La Liga is also going to start this weekend. So all of that, we'll give you all of that, those updates on Saturday on the Beautiful Game, and of course on Friday we'll take a preview of the games that will be happening across the weekend. All right, that's it for this morning on the Beautiful Game. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us.